Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. I hope that everybody has had a good week. I hope that things are working out for you the way that you want them to. I hope things are falling in line. Now, that's the ideal situation, right? Okay. I want to talk to you about how do you line things up? How do you work when things aren't going your way? Because ultimately, at some point, things are not going to go your way. There's no special incantation. There's no special blueprint that will allow you. Hey, what's going on, Javelle? There's no special incantation, no special blueprint that will allow you to circumvent the vicissitudes and challenges and struggles of life. There are going to be some times when things simply aren't working out for you. The question is, what are you doing about it? How are you engaging it? What role are you playing? Are you sitting on the sidelines? Are you actively engaged in changing things from a micro level so that the macro results that you get are what you want? You got to understand life is not happening to you. Life is responding to you. And when you learn how to respond to the challenges of life, life will begin to happen for you. For those of you who have not gotten my 20th book, Critical Mass, and my 21st book, I Am, the links are in the box. If you want to work with me directly, there's a way to do that also that you can check out in the description box. Also, there's a great, wonderful 12-month course that I'm offering now called Mastering Money. It is basic principles that are used by the most successful in the world. And if you find anybody that is experiencing consistent success in finance, they're going to be practicing these principles. It's not a get rich quick scheme. This is my company is not a money management company or a financial advisory company. We're not going to be managing your money. We will give you the principles and show you what you can do. I will introduce you to one gentleman who never earned more than $14,000 a year, but worked with someone who was wise in how to invest that and actually retired with a net worth of over 72 million, lived to over 90 and gave half of that away to charity. Another man who worked as a parking lot attendant for his entire life, never made more than $12 an hour, but worked in a financial district where he gleaned information from the people who were parking in his parking lot, asked questions about what and listened to what they had to say, and actively got involved and retired with liquid assets of over 500,000 and a total net worth close to $1 million. That's $12 an hour. So the idea that you have to have a certain amount of money to play the money game is absolutely wrong. Matter of fact, the less you have, the more aware you need to be of how things work so that you can start working. One of the things that I tell anybody, if somebody says if you just had one thing that you would tell people, what would it be? It would be compound growth. Find you something that you can invest in long term that has a compounded return. That cannot be stressed how powerful. There are a bunch of index funds that work great. The Vanguard, the S&P 500. You're going to have your ups and downs, but over the course of the last 40 years, somewhere like that, great 8.2 or higher, on average. So you're talking about just consistent growth. And the earlier you get into this, you want your kids doing something compound right out of high school or earlier. You want to get them in something where their money is being compounded and they're putting something into it on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And I get into all of that. I talk about asymmetric risk reward. I talk about understanding how you actually pay to invest your money and what the cost of investing is. What's the tax liabilities? These are things that people who understand money are always aware of. They know the money game. You're either spending your money or investing your money. And the thing is, you in both cases, you're putting money out. One brings back a return, the other one doesn't. And the more spending you do, the less investing you do, the more you hurt yourself. And there's no such thing as I don't have enough or I can't afford to invest. You have to. It has to be a mindset. Poverty is not how much money you have on any given moment. Poverty is a mindset. Poverty is expecting somebody else to honor a value that you have in yourself and pay you and then not know what to do with what you're being paid. You have to understand the second stage of it. You have to be patient with it. You have to work it. And we talk about all these principles, give you a 7-step program. Again, this is just me teaching and using some of the people I know to come in and share some unbelievably powerful stories and principles with you over the course of a year to help you take what you want to do from where you're at to where you want to go in what time frame and actually do that. That is available. The link to do that is available also. If you want to be a part of that and take on that 12-month course, definitely this is the time to do it. Yeah, I know it's Christmas time. I'm telling you, you got to start investing in yourself. The thing is, again, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This isn't something that's going to put magic money in your pocket, but what it will do over the course of your life is put you in a better position so that your offspring will be in a better position and that you have created a legacy that can be passed down. And it'll take you places. It'll put you in positions that you never thought you could be in if you plan right. Now, there's absolutely nothing you can't do. The thing is, are you willing to make the sacrifices that it takes? That's the only question. Are you willing to have some lean years so that you can have some unbelievable years? Or do you have to reward yourself every time that you get paid and then there's nothing left? All of these questions we answer. And if you want to be a part of that, that link is in there as well. On that note, let's talk. The one thing that I've learned in my life, and I have to say it with a smile, is that when you make it your life's work to teach people how to achieve something at a higher level, when you make it your life's work to show people how to grow themselves, how to expand themselves, how to raise their standard of living, there are these things that come with it. Number one is you tend to bear the weight of a lot of suffering, because if you really have a heart for it, you care about what people go through. So you have to prepare yourself and teach yourself and develop the capacity to bear that, but also know what to carry and what not to carry. Also, there's this thing that I've learned, that when you're trying to do this, when you're talking about elevation, and I teach principles about gratitude. I teach principles about faithfulness, about commitment, about gratitude, about positive focus, and creating and manifesting things from the place of positive, because you've heard me say this a million times, God meets you at the level of your expectations. That's simply what faith is, God meeting you at the level of your expectations. What you believe you are going to get consistently is what you will get consistently. There will be some fluctuations and some anomalies along the way, but what you will experience consistently is what you believe consistently. And when you teach that, you will find yourself being put in more and more places to practice that. There's just this force that's always there that's going to condition you and train you and make sure that what you are channeling, teaching, and sharing, you're practicing. I wish I could come on here and tell you, man, once I learned A, B, C, and D, my life was changing. I never had to do this again. I wish I could tell you that once I learned this, I can tell you that my life changed when I began to understand that I was in control of my life. That while I had a power greater than me that I was aware of, that power had given me total autonomy and sovereignty over my decisions, my choices, what direction I was going to have, and that the choices I made was going to determine the outcome and the results I got. I stopped blaming God and the devil for what was going on in my life a long time ago. This isn't about faith. This isn't about religion. I'm telling you that what most people tend to do is use God and the devil as the excuses for their failures. What do I mean? See, there's one or two things that's happening why, and I'm speaking as if I was someone else. There's one or two reasons why I can't, ever get out of my financial situation. It's either not God's will or the devil is interfering with it. It's only one reason why my marriage is in shambles. God didn't want me here. It's not God's will, or the devil is destroying my marriage. Rarely do you see somebody say, I made a crappy decision. I haven't been committed. I've been putting out shoddy work. I need to raise my standard of performance. I need a standard of excellence. I need to stop taking things that I say I care about casually. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody has these check mechanisms that releases them from the responsibility of owning their own mess. And that's the thing. I'm constantly focused. When I'm not getting something, the question isn't why God. I never ask God why. God has given me the exceptional capacity to tap into the infinite knowledge that God has. God has given me the capacity to think and be creative and manifest things that have never existed into existence by simply thinking. He has taught me that that if I can conceive it, then that's his proof to me that it's possible. So it's nothing that I desire that can't be done. It's, am I doing the things that are necessary? Am I where I need to be? And there are a lot of things that are coming out and coming at you at any given time. And it's easy to lose focus. I've lost focus. I've stood up there and at times started to struggle in confidence when something isn't moving as fast as I think it should or happening the way it would. That really happens. That really happens. You know, you're sitting there, you know, and you're looking up and you're saying, okay, man, for a while it was working. What's going on now? You start to question yourself. I would be lying to you if I told you I didn't have those moments where I'm going like, man, you know, what's going on? And then I'm reminded, life is responding to me. What am I allowing to distract me? What am I allowing to challenge my confidence in myself, my faith in God, and what I'm capable of? Now, I'm not telling you that when you master faith, when you master confidence, when you start to believe in yourself, that there still won't be times when things just aren't right. But you have to have the confidence to stay firm and settled in what it is that you're doing and believe that the work you're putting in are the seeds you're planting, and that when you plant seeds and you nurture them, you bring them to harvest. So if you're planting good seeds and you're putting in the work, the universal law of reciprocity guarantees at some point it's coming back. What most people start to believe is that delay means denial. What does that mean? When something doesn't happen at a certain time, and especially when you really need it to happen, when something isn't happening, you start to think, man, it's not going to take place. No. What you got to understand is time is relevant in the sense of reference. It's not relevant in the sense of true accomplishment for lifetime. In other words, there are some things that are going to happen on your time frame, and there's some things that simply are not going to happen exactly when you want them to, or even when you feel you need them to. But if you've planted and you've nurtured, it's coming. What you've also got to understand is that there's a gestation period in the process and the principle of sowing and reaping or planting and harvesting. What does that mean? Depending on what I plant will tell me how long it's going to take for it to come to harvest. See, it takes a lot longer for an oak tree to come to harvest after the acorn has been planted than it does a rose bush to come to harvest after the rose seeds have been planted. You've got to understand that if you've planted something great, it's not going to happen overnight. If you're fighting for something big, it's not going to happen overnight. If you believe in for something extraordinary and spectacular, it's not going to happen overnight. You've got to have the courage and the confidence and the discipline to stay focused and believe in what you're doing. The beautiful thing that I have that I've learned is that when I look back over my life, not to relive it and be stuck in it, but to remind me of just how life works. See, sometimes for those of you who are believers and study the Bible, there's a part in Lamentations in chapter 3 where Jeremiah says, these things I recall to mind, therefore I have hope. In other words, Jeremiah says, I go back and I look at some of the things where I thought I was out of the game. I look back where other people counted me out. I look back and I see where I should have been dead. I look back and I see all these things that should have happened. And then I'm reminded I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I won. Therefore, I have hope in this situation that might right now momentarily seem hopeless. So I have the ability, I go back and I say, man, I was supposed to be dead right there. Literally 3 times minimum that I should have been dead. Maybe more, but at least 3 times minimum I should have been dead, but I'm still breathing. Means I'm here for a reason. Means that there's still purpose to fulfill. Means there's still work to be done. Meaning that I'm not done yet. I look back and say, man, they counted me out right there. But I look what happened. Look, man, that was one time I almost thought it wasn't going to happen. I'm looking back and look what happened. I learned that when you are consistently committed to going the distance, amazing thing happens. One of my favorite quotes actually comes from this movie. And It's a movie called Lawless, and it's about some moonshiners from the hits of Virginia and I want to say Virginia and Kentucky and the border up in there. And there's these Bondurant brothers, and they are like I guess the creme de la creme of the moonshiners. And they are hardcore. Well, the two older brothers are hardcore. The younger brother's smart, but he's scary. He's not a killer like the other two, but he's the one that the laws focus in on and center on. And they rough him up, kill his cousin, and rough him up. And then the toughest of the brothers is sitting at the bar that they own and ask him a question. He says, "So what are you going to do about it?" And the younger Bondurant brother, who's played by Shia LaBeouf, Tom Hardy plays the other brother. And he looks at it. He says, "I'm not like you. I'm not tough. I'm not," basically he said, "I'm not a killer. I'm not tough like you. I don't know how to go out and get revenge. I don't know how to go out and take lives and fight back." And he gets over and he walks over and he gets real close to him. And he leans over, and what he says is like one of the most powerful revelations I've ever come across. He says, "It's not the violence that sets a man apart. It's the distance he is prepared to go." And that is it. It's not how smart you are. It's not who you know. It's not how much money you have in your bank account. It's not all these other things that people will tell you. Great to have resources, but I've learned personally that my greatest resource is my mind, my imagination, my creativity, my resourcefulness is my greatest resource. So I'm never out of the game, because as long as I can think, I can win. But I start to think, and it came to me, it's like, hey, it's not none of that. It's not anything that you think. It's simply that, are you willing to go the distance? Are you prepared to finish what you started at all costs? Are you willing to sit in when it gets hard, when people are laughing at you, when people are talking about you, when people are scandalizing your name, when people are sitting up literally praying for your demise, when people are literally sitting up and whispering all this stuff, when you got people in your own corner that are not happy with what you're doing and hoping that you fail just so they don't have to see you succeed. When all that's happening, and then the natural things that just simply come with trying to climb, you're going to meet resistance because gravity is pulling against you. It's natural. As you climb, you automatically have a resistance. You have the weight of what you're trying to take somewhere being pulled by gravity, and you've got to fight that. But what you figure is, if I don't quit, I may slip a couple of wrongs while I'm climbing, but I won't quit. I may go back a few steps, but I won't quit. I may sit up and have to find a different route, but I'm going to the same destination. I refuse to quit. There is no plan B for me. I've set out some goals. I've set up some things I have to do, and I'm going to get there no matter what it takes, no matter how hard it takes. And I'm prepared to take the bumps and the bruises along the way. I knew that what I wanted to accomplish in life, that there would be people that wouldn't like me. I didn't set out to be liked. I set out to be impactful. I set out to be somebody that people could come to and literally change their lives. I set out to be an example of what's possible when you come from the hood and the darkness of a bunch of different things. You're talking about a man that never knew his father. I mean, I never met the man. The first time I saw him was at his funeral. But that's never been an excuse for me. Because, see, I got some beautiful sisters and a wonderful stepmom out of the deal that love me and still love me, and we still have relationships. But you got to know that's where the first book comes from. My first book, The Invisible Father, came from that. I found a way to turn that into something that's still blessing people years after I wrote it, because I refused to be broken and stopped because something didn't go my way. I was trained before I was ever an adult to never stop, never turn back, never quit. What are you doing right now to change your life? Are you still blaming God and the devil? It's not God's will, and the devil is just in my business. The devil is busy. The devil is busy. Are you busy? Because this is what I can tell you. I don't care how busy the devil, whatever that represents for you. I don't care how busy the enemy is. I don't care how busy the haters are. I don't care how busy those who are sitting up praying for your demise are. If you're busy in your work, if you're not creating the things that matter to you the most as if they were casual happenings, if you're literally in your business and working hard, there's nothing that nobody that can stop you. Are you willing to go the distance? There ain't nothing like a person that's willing to go the distance. You may not have all the answers, but you're just not going to quit. You may not have everybody in your corner, but you're just not going to quit. I'm trying to tell you that it's going to be you who's going to sit up and determine how life changes and how life goes for you. And no, it's not gonna, there's no magic words you're gonna be able to speak that's gonna change it. But there is a point and an epiphany and a revelation at a point in time where you come to and you start to realize, I've got this. And from that point on, it doesn't matter what comes at you. You just sit up there and say, it's not what I want, but I've got this. You know, and I've shared this with you before. When I'm at a point and I'm sitting up and I begin to question it and I can't find the immediate answer or the immediate solution to it, I go in the bathroom, flip on the light, stare in the mirror and look at myself and I say, you got this. And then I tell myself something I've been telling myself since maybe 12, you're built for this. You are built for this. Everything that you've been through, Rick, prepared you for this moment. It's hard, it's tough, it hurts, but you got this. You're built for this. You're going to push through. You're going to win. I tell myself I'm going to win every day. It doesn't matter what I'm facing, what I'm going through, how it looks. I'm telling myself I got this. I'm going to win. It's going, and that's the thing, and that's what I want to share with you. That's why I'm transparent with you. That's why I share with you. You know, I've been blessed to do some great things. I've been blessed to experience some things, but there's some hardships that came too. There's some consequences for some stupid decisions that I had to deal with. There were some setbacks. There were some failed relationships. There were some bad situations financially. There are some things that are going on as I rebuild and come back from a very devastating situation. Man, almost 6 years now. Well, no, more than 6 years, almost 8 years now. Wow. You know, time flies. But 8 years ago, 2012 was the worst year of my life. I mean, the worst year of my life by far. And yet, I gained the greatest from it. I found out just how unbreakable I was. I found out the things that I feared the most couldn't destroy me. Because I had to meet them. I had to meet the few things that I was literally terrified of head on. And I withstood it. And I climbed out of it, step by step, inch by inch, moment by moment, coming back. That's why I can tell you, that's why I can hold a class like the Mastering Money class, because I lost everything. And I had built some nice stuff. Those are the people who used to, you know, do what we used to do with me, know what I'm talking about. Some of the pictures are hidden somewhere down way back when that I put up there just to remind me what I was climbing back from and how I was going to do it different this time. You know, that's way down at the beginning when I first got on this place. I put a few of those things up. But the thing is this, step by step. I didn't go whining and blaming God. I didn't blame the devil. I was living out the consequences of my own choices and my own decisions and my own arrogance, thinking that nothing could ever stop me no matter how dumb my choices and behavior was. And the crazy thing about it, when I look back over it, what I was doing, most people wouldn't have thought anything was wrong with it because most people was eating if they were around me. You know, I didn't have the right people. I didn't have a bunch of yes men, but I didn't have real hardcore people like, dude, we could be doing something better with this than this. We could be doing this. I didn't have those type people. And then I got to this point where I had to go rock bottom. I mean, to the bottom. And then I realized all that meant nothing because all the people that were big up in me and shouting out and making me feel like I was the bomb, nobody was there. I was there facing this on my own. I mean, literally sitting up and going like, wow. But I climbed out and I started building and I took that nothing, literally rock bottom, nothing. And I've built up, rebuilt Master Fitness 21, which used to be Stay Fit Fitness and Training, the Odyssey Media Group. Which is now not just the Odyssey Media Group, but Odyssey Media Group and Publishing. I also, you know, vamped up TVI, the Visionetics Institute, where I do my teaching and personal development things. And that's just the beginning. There's so much more that's out there. There's the Myriad Business Solutions, where I work with businesses to help them with profit management and stuff like that. And still doing more. Then there's the Odyssey Project. If you notice, a lot of things was Odyssey, because see, Odyssey used to be Odyssey Entertainment. And I was out there acting a nut. And so you got the Odyssey Media Group now, and then you got the Odyssey Project. And that came out of that. But what I'm telling you is that started from nothing, and nobody gave me nothing. I didn't get a job. I worked, I created, I came up with an idea, and I started using my gift. The book of Proverbs says that your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. And I just started using the gift. What was I good at? The gift is that thing that you do well, and it comes easy. And you've probably been dogging it, mishandling it, mistreating it, misusing it, or it's been sitting idle somewhere behind you, gathering dust because you're trying to be something that you're not, or please somebody else, or live up to somebody else's expectations of what you are or should be, instead of walking in your gift. Your gift was unique for you. God gave it to you. It's what makes you special. Are you hearing me? Everybody's trying to be like everybody else instead of walking in the gift. See, when you're like everybody else, yeah, you're average. Everybody gets along. Nobody's threatened, but nobody's doing anything special. It's when you decide that you're going to step into your gift, be a little different, be unique, but walk in the gift. It's the gift and it's only yours. Nobody can do it like you. You weren't meant to simply survive. You weren't meant to simply exist. You were here to make a difference. You are here to impact lives. You are here so that when you leave, the world won't be the same. You hear me say this all the time. I live my life on full every day. Why? Because I don't know when I'm leaving. I want to leave, and I want to live to at least be 100. But if I leave anytime from this moment forward, I want to leave knowing that I made an impact. So I live my life on full so that when I die, I don't eat. I want to die not having a bunch of potential just resting inside of me that I have not actualized and I have not benefited others through. What are you doing to change your life? Not what people are doing to you, not what people have done to you, not what you think this. What are you taking from what you have that's God-given? And how are you changing your life with it? See, you don't have to worry about money, because if you start to bless the world with the gift will return to you what you're valued. There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking what you're gifted at and saying, I'm going to do this for you, and this is what I'm going to charge, as long as what you're doing for them exceeds the value of what they're paying you. That was my grandfather's rule. Always give more in value than you take in payment. And there's so many different ways that you can do that. And it's not going to hurt you. You're not going to lose. You're going to be blessed, and you're going to bless other people. That's what I'm talking about. Turn around. And man, there's so many different ways I work with my clients, and I give them more than they paid for. Sometimes it's extra sessions. Sometimes the sessions go over. Sometimes they get an extra something that didn't come with it. All of that. But it's always my idea to sit up and say, okay, I'm going to bless you with more. You invested in yourself, I'm going to invest in you too. But what I'm telling you is this: it's up to you what you do. You can sit up and you can blame everybody else. You can blame your haters. You can blame the devil. You can blame the enemy. You can even sit up and blame God. It's God's will. God must not want me to do this. No, it's you. It's you and the decisions you're making. It's how you're folding under pressure. It's how you're backing out instead of standing up. It's up to you. I'm challenging you. Whatever you do, you're going to have to stand up and go get it. And no, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to lie down for you. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Easy is what average people do. Easy is what they get up every day and they go do whatever it is they do every day that everybody else is doing. And this isn't maligning anything. If you have a job you love and your job is fulfilling you and you've got everything covered and you're not lacking in anything and that's what you love, I feel for you. But if you're waking up every day and you are miserable, if you're waking up every day and literally going to a job you hate, you're committing spiritual suicide. You're committing an act of deprivation. You are literally declining because you're not making a move to change it. it's not that you have a job. It's that you're working in a place that isn't fulfilling you. It's a place that's literally sucking the life out of you. You got to find a place where you feel you belong. You got to find a place where you're appreciated. You got to find a place where people literally understand what you bring to the table and are grateful for your presence. You were meant to be appreciated. And when you're not appreciated, it literally has an emotional, psychological, and spiritual bearing on how you live and how you experience life. You're responsible for that. That goes for the relationships that you're in as well. You have a responsibility to yourself to live life at the next level, constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly becoming stronger, not so that you can sit up and satiate you, but you can sit up and empower others. The satiation comes by empowering. You'll be full of money. Your ego will be stroked. All that stuff will come secondary. You ain't got to chase it. You just got to be the best you can be so that you touch lives. When you do that, all the things that satisfy you, empower you, and edify you will come. And when it takes a little while, understand delay does not mean denial. And I'm going to leave you with this. Those who, study the Bible or are a part of Christianity, you've heard this a million times, but I wonder how have you understood it from a practical perspective, from an actual active live perspective of what it means. Habakkuk chapter 2, it says, write the vision and make it plain so those who read it may run. It says, and though it tarry, it shall come. It will definitely, depending on what interpretation you're reading, what version you're reading, whatever. But the connotation of it is, it will definitely, though it tarry, it will definitely come. So delay is not denial. Though it tarry, it will definitely. But the front part of it says, write it down. How many of you have written down and made clear what it is you want in 2020? Financially, relationally, career-wise, business-wise, as a family, what do you want? How have you written it down? Do you have a vision board? Do you have an image? Do you have it written down? Why is that important? Because that has a way of implanting in your brain. It activates the reticular activating system. It lets the brain and the subconscious mind, which is the depths of the soul, understand what's important to you. And it starts to work even when you're asleep, bringing it to pass. Do you know how many of the inventions that we literally live with and has made us a lot more comfortable and convenient actually came to people in their dreams? Everything from the periodic table down to so many other things came in a dream. And the dream was generated through the preparation of the subconscious to declare and to find and to work on things. You have to have a specific plan and be moving in a direction. You got to know what you're looking for to be able to recognize it when you see it. On that note, I'm going to jump off. I got plenty to do, but I had to stop by and drop that on you. Live life on full. That's my challenge to you. Every day, my goal is to live life on full so that I die on E. That's my challenge to you. Make every second count. That don't mean you're working 24 hours a day. That means that everything has purpose. I take a power nap most days. It's been a minute. I've been kind of on overdrive lately. But I try to make it a point to take a power nap. Why? Because it rejuvenates me. It makes me sharper. My decision making is better. I'm able to work longer, more hours in that day. And so that has purpose. I sleep a certain amount of hours because that has purpose. I spend time in the gym because that has purpose. It's not always at the desk, but it's always with something in mind that's making me better. And because if I'm better, the people that trust me will be better. And on that note, I'm getting out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day. Thank you guys for stopping by. Make sure to share this with someone. Like I said, if you if you find the resource in there that fits you, whether it's one of the books, whether it's the Mastering Money course, whatever it is, find that and let's get together. Let's make some things happen. On that note, I'm out of here.